pain. If you're like me, one of the millions suffering from pain caused by migraine, Nurtec ODT may help. It's the only medication that can treat a migraine when it strikes and prevent migraine attacks. Treat and prevent all in one.
Don't take if allergic to Nurtec. Allergic reactions can occur even days after using. Most common side effects were nausea, indigestion, and stomach pain.
Relief is possible. Talk to a doctor about Nurtec ODT.
With Vaseline, hydrated skin is just the beginning. Level up to even-toned, radiant skin. New Vaseline Radiant X Body Lotion with 1% niacinamide.
Rainy conditions continue, and then snowflakes return. I'll time out the showers and show you our chilly weekend temps. Live from downtown Marquette, it's your 19 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Blakely. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, breaking news on the East Coast. Dozens are dead in a shooting in Maine tonight, and the suspect still on the loose. We'll have the very latest. Plus, a tentative deal is made. What Ford and the UAW have agreed on for the next 4 years in hopes the 41-day strike will come to an end. And increasing financial transparency from elected officials. The bipartisan effort in the state Senate to address Proposal 1 passed by voters last November. Your 19 News starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 11.
We're starting off tonight pretty quiet for the most part. Ariane, what's ahead for us tonight?
We've got clouds, fairly dry conditions, Sarah, and then we'll see those sprinkles start to push in around 3 a.m. on the west half of the UP, eventually covering all of us on Thursday. We do have some snow expected possibly this weekend and even early next week. Those temperatures are going to be coming crashing down on our Friday night, but definitely on Saturday and Sunday. Right now, today we saw a high of 48 out at the National Weather Service station. And those current temperatures in the 40s, fog moving in as well. Your full forecast after the break.
Thank you very much, Ariane. Breaking news tonight, at least 16 people were killed and 50 to 60 wounded in mass shootings in Lewiston, Maine tonight. It's possible the death toll could be over 20. Lewiston police say they're investigating multiple locations, a restaurant and a bowling alley about 10 minutes from each other. Police have told residents to stay at home and lock the doors. Police released pictures of the suspect, a bearded man in a long sleeve shirt and jeans holding a rifle in the firing position. The county sheriff's office posted 2 photographs of the suspect on Facebook saying he's still at large. The CBS Morning News will continue to cover this developing story. New tonight, the United Auto Workers Union has struck a tentative deal with Ford. CBS News reports the tentative contract likely includes cost of living pay increases of 25% over the life of the 4-year deal. That's roughly 2% higher than Ford's previous offer to the union. Typically, during past auto strikes, a UAW deal with one automaker has led the other companies to match it with their own settlements. But this deal still needs to be approved by Ford's approximately 57,000 UAW workers. Just a day after General Motors says it's slowing down EV production amid the UAW strike, Honda pulls out of a partnership with GM to make affordable EVs. Andres Gutierrez went to the GM Orion assembly plant to find out what this may mean for consumers down the road.
The widely touted partnership between Honda and General Motors would have used GM's Ultium battery technology to make a series of electric vehicles beginning in 2027 that would have cost less than 30 grand. But today, both companies announced that after extensive studies and analysis, they're ditching the $5 billion effort.
We want to lead in EVs, full stop. And so that's where we're aggressively moving.
That was GM CEO Mary Barra in an interview with CBS News at the beginning of last year, months before entering into the agreement that had the hopes of beating Tesla in sales. The head of the Center for Automotive Research in Ann Arbor isn't surprised by this latest development.
Lots of learning going on. How do you make EVs affordable and profitable? And so I think companies are going through that process and they're learning and they're finding that they may be able to produce a more affordable and perhaps more profitable vehicle if they take a little bit more time for a little bit more optimization. So I think that may be what we're seeing here.
This all comes after GM said last week they're delaying the production of 2 electric pickups here at the Orion assembly plant until late 2025. In fact, the company is idling the plant at the end of this year and relocating the 1,000 employees on site to other facilities. Then on Tuesday, GM in their earnings call said they're scaling back on their goal to build 400,000 EVs through mid-2024.
As far as General Motors' strategy here, it may be to focus more on the Chevy Bolt as their entry-level EV than to pour additional money into a joint venture with Honda for entry-level EVs.
In a statement, the automaker said GM's focus over the next 2 years will continue to be on scaling the Ultium platform and battery cell capacity, expanding a robust domestic EV supply chain, and delivering a comprehensive portfolio of EVs across categories, including lower-cost models.
These are long-term capital investments, 15 to 20 years. This is difficult to walk away from. This is difficult to turn the aircraft carrier around. So once those investments are made, it's very expensive to switch gears or to change.
International corporation Billerud is decreasing its workforce, and it'll impact workers overseas and here in the U.S. Earlier this month, Escanava's paper mill reported a low demand for paper. According to Billerud's CEO, net sales of paper in North America are down 24% compared to last year. He says to improve efficiency and profitability, Billerud is reducing up to 350 positions in North America, Europe, and its corporate operations.
The reduction to yield annualized saving of $300 million, and it's never been a light heart. We reached this decision and of this magnitude, but it's our belief that it's needed for Billerud to continue to be well positioned going forward.
Billerud has also delayed its transformation investment program on mills in Escanaba and Quinnesec. The CEO says it is the company's most important opportunity for growth, but has to be put on hold due to changes in the economy. In Lansing, legislators are hearing testimony on bills that aim to create more financial transparency from public officials. The bill package is a bipartisan effort that had a hearing this morning in the Senate Oversight Committee. Our Michigan Capitol correspondent Sophia Murphy spoke with one of the bill's sponsors about why those bills have become a priority.
Last November, Michigan passed Proposal 1, which called for legislation that would require financial disclosure from state officials. The bill package that was created in the Senate to address the standards set by Proposal 1 includes 4 bills introduced by both Democratic and Republican senators.
It's a serious start. It's very important, and hopefully it starts a cascade of other reforms that people like myself and others have been proposing for a very long time.
UP Senator Ed McBroom is the sponsor for the last of the 4 bills. He says the legislators have received criticism for a lack of movement to pass the legislation, and that its due time transparency laws were passed.
I've been pushing for months, but I'm in the minority right now, and so working with the majority to get my ideas as part of these bills meant also waiting until they were ready to introduce them.
The bill package would require elected state officials and candidates to file financial disclosure reports annually.
This is objectively a huge step forward compared to the system that does not hold our elected officials accountable.
Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson spoke at this morning's committee meeting. She says these bills are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the work that needs to be done.
And I hope this is just the beginning, that this is one step forward in a journey that needs to take us far above the minimum that Proposal 1 required.
Some legislators criticize the package, saying there's a lot more that should be included, in particular the inclusion of spousal asset disclosure. But with the December 31st deadline set by Proposal 1 approaching rapidly, Senator McBroom says it's a priority to them to pass at least a basic bill package that can then be amended and added onto. From Michigan's capital, Sophia Murphy, WZMQ 19 News.
Those bills still need to be voted out of the Senate Oversight Committee. That vote is expected to take place at next week's meeting. Once they're passed in the full Senate, they'll go through the same process in the House before they can be enacted. Tonight, Delta County gathered to honor and learn from survivors in recognition of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Tri-County Safe Harbor hosted its inaugural Remember Me End the Silence, Stop the Violence event at Bay College's Bessie Center. Survivors shared their stories and answered people's questions. Then, names of those who lost their lives to domestic violence were read during a candlelight vigil.
Beneficial to everyone in terms of raising awareness, and it is happening in our community. We are here to make it known that people can speak up and say, this happened and I need help.
I think it gives them a different perspective on maybe what they think domestic violence or sexual assault is, can give them an encouragement to tell their story or to get involved themselves.
If you or someone you know is a victim of domestic violence, visit WZMQ19.com for information on resources that are available through Tri-County Safe Harbor. Developing now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says his war cabinet will decide how soon the ground assault on Gaza will begin. Hamas officials say the death toll in Gaza has risen to more than 6,500 people. More than 1,400 Israelis were killed in Hamas's terror attack on southern Israel earlier this month. Tina Kraus has more on the war from Tel Aviv.
CBS News has learned Israel is holding off on its ground invasion into Gaza, possibly to allow more time for negotiations to free more than 200 hostages. Children are among them. 9-month-old Kafir and his 4-year-old brother Ariel.
There's no words that could describe how horrifying this is, seeing innocent kids that did nothing wrong except for being in their homes.
At the White House, President Biden said there is no going back to the status quo.
When this crisis is over, there has to be a vision of what comes next. And in our view, it has to be a two-state solution.
While Hamas launches rockets at Israel around the clock, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warns Hamas is doomed. On a military base near Tel Aviv, the Israel Defense Forces showed reporters 46 minutes of gut-wrenching raw footage from the horrific attack on October 7th.
We need to call out the depravity and the horror that we saw Hamas commit and what motivated them.
The IDF says its relentless airstrikes on Gaza are not about revenge, but wiping out Hamas. But thousands of civilians have been caught in the crossfire. Are they the enemies? Asked this man, pointing to his wounded son. The UN says a third of hospitals in the Gaza Strip have stopped functioning.
The hospital have nothing to offer to them, so it cannot be described by words. It's a hell.
And fuel is running out to power generators. Israel says Hamas is stealing the crucial commodity from civilians to use in their rockets, releasing aerial images of these tanks it says contain more than 100,000 gallons of fuel. CBS News has not been able to independently verify the pictures.
The Israeli Defense Forces, or IDF, says it's using hundreds of hours of raw footage from October 7th to capture images of Hamas members who waged the attack. The IDF is vowing to hunt down every one of them. Your first warning weather forecast is coming up after this break, plus the greatest late season warm spell in Upper Michigan's recent history. Carl Bonak takes a look. And later, increasing awareness of other symptoms of breast cancer. One woman shares her story of how a diagnosis didn't happen the way she expected.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
Sleep better with a new mattress from Kirkish Furniture. We proudly feature Made in the Midwest Restonic mattresses. Try one out today and compare other major brands. Let our sleep specialists help you find the bed of your dreams at Kirkish Furniture.
There's nothing like the feeling you get being outdoors. The UP Ice Fishing and Hunting Expo has everything you need to be ready. The expo returns to the UP State Fairgrounds Ruth Butler Building. Inside, discover great sponsors with everything from bait to rods and reels. Mark it down now on your calendar, November 3rd through the 5th at the UP State Fairgrounds. The UP Ice Fishing and Hunting Expo, brought to you by the Daily Press and WZMQ 19 News. Here's your WZMQ CBS This is Home Community Calendar.
10 million people call Michigan home. The state capital since 1847 is in Lansing, and decisions made in this building affect you and the Upper Peninsula. I'm WZMQ 19 Sophia Murphy, uncovering what's really happening here every day, tracking issues about your health and the environment, taxes and roads, schools, and safety. Reports direct from the Capitol, only on your WZMQ 19 News.
Sophia Murphy, reporting live from Lansing, exclusively on 19 News.
Mike Baxter, Pioneer.
How do you kill an elk?
Wait outside the lodge until last called and hit it with a tire iron.
Last man standing.
Now, WZMQ 19 News First Warning Weather with Ariane Stasic.
Let's take a look at the next 24 hours. Pretty much going to be a broken record. We've got fog, clouds, rain showers expected, maybe some thunder, but those temperatures pretty much the same during the evening and during the day in that 40-degree range. Taking a look at temperatures right now, we're about in that 40-degree range, 43 here in Marquette, a little bit warmer over in Iron Mountain with the high or current temperature of 47 degrees. And as you can see, some fog starting to roll in there in Newberry. Like I mentioned, we will expect that over the next 24 hours. Tonight, those lows very similar to what we're already seeing overnight. Okay, taking a look at the temperatures because we are going to be dropping down, crashing down pretty much. Specifically, let's look at Ewan. We'll expect 51 tomorrow, and then on Friday, 55. That's going to be your warm day before we start to drop down into the 30s, where we have possibilities of snow showers as well on Sunday into our Monday. Right now, winds primarily coming out of the east and northeast. We'll see these switch directions here on Friday as we take a look here. Wednesday, still sticking with those north winds. We could see some southerly winds pushing in before we've got that switch here around Friday, coming out of the west and northwest there mid-morning, and then we could see some gusts as well. So just a heads up on that. That is for Friday. Now taking a look at what we're seeing as far as precipitation. As you can see, all that blue stuff just a little bit west of us for the moment. But right now we've got the green goodness of rain showers expected to sprinkle on down. Taking a look at radar right now, though, we're fairly dry. So let's take a look at when those showers are going to push in. Maybe some sprinkles down here in Menominee County a little bit later on this evening, but around 3 a.m. we'll expect some rain over there in the west coast. We could expect some maybe heavy showers as well, so just a heads up, maybe some ponding on the roads as well as possible flooding depending on how much we actually see. Friday morning we'll expect another round of showers starting over there on the nose. Not as much precipitation as we're expecting on our Thursday, but still cloudy and chances of fog as well. Taking a look now at that rain outlook, how much we'll see overnight here into our morning around 9 a.m. Almost an inch over there in Ironwood and just increasing throughout that morning and afternoon into the evening there, almost an inch in Lance by 5 p.m. So again, heads up, slow it down and make sure you turn around. Do not drive through any big puddles that look like they could be flooding. You don't want to do that. 7-day outlook for Marquette. We've got those temperatures dropping down on Saturday. Snow showers on Sunday into Halloween.
Thank you very much, Ariane. Downtown Iron Mountain expects this weekend's second annual pumpkin walk to double in size this year. Around 1,200 kids are expected to haunt the downtown plaza this year as the DDA partners with Marshfield Medical Center Dickinson and First National Bank for a trunk or treat event on Saturday. Kids can compete for prizes in a costume contest, and local businesses have their spookiest window displays to compete for mini grants based on a public vote, which will be decided on Halloween. The event coordinator for the DDA says the library is also bringing back Ghoulie Glowing Golf. We have all the details about the pumpkin walk at WZMQ19.com. We've certainly had some cool, cloudy weather lately, but overall it's been much warmer than average this fall. Carl Bonack shares some perspective and tells us about the greatest late season warm spells.
This month started with a surge of summer.
High temperatures hit the 80s the first 3 days of October, including a record-tying October high of 87 on the 2nd. The first 3 nights had summertime lows in the 60s, while there were standalone record highs on the 3rd and 4th. The first 4 days came in over 20 degrees above average. While it's cooled since then, the mean temperature still stands at about 3 degrees above normal. Record highs in the 70s and 80s to start October is noteworthy, but when temperatures like this occur late in the month, it's historic. For instance, the U.S. Weather Bureau observer in Marquette gushed over a record warm October in 1963. October's record-shattering warmth is unprecedented, the warmest in the past 88 years, with an average temperature 2.4 degrees higher than that of any other October on record, and warmer than 70% of the Septembers since 1875. The month had 6 days with highs in the 80s in the city of Marquette, including the latest 80-degree temperature on October 23rd. The month ended 10.8 degrees above average. In October 1989, it seemed like winter had started with 5 days of measurable snow during mid-month. Suddenly, the pattern shifted with 4 days in the 70s starting on October 25th, including a high of 76 at the National Weather Service on the 27th, the warmest temperature so late in the season.
And while we've had a bit of a warm spell, an Arctic blast pummeled much of the Pacific Northwest and Northern Plains today. Some areas received a foot of snow, with more on the way tonight. Now, you've probably heard some meteorologists talk about the El Nino winter. In the Pacific Northwest, an El Nino winter typically means warmer and drier than average conditions. Frankie Catafias explains why the area got so much snow today.
Well, we have had these sorts of weather conditions in late October. They're unusual, but certainly they do have precedent.
And that's according to Washington State's climatologist Nick Bond, who also tells Cairo 7 that despite the early freeze, lower snow levels, and widespread wet weather this week,
they're not really necessarily an omen for the winter as a whole.
But while unlikely, significant snow events can and have happened before during an El Nino year.
We had some recent years with some exceptions during the El Nino of 2018-2019. In February 2019, we had a very significant cold period with plenty of snow in the Puget Sound lowlands and continued cold in eastern Washington that occurred in February.
Over at the National Weather Service in Seattle, meteorologists tracking our winter outlook have a moderate signal indicating above average temperatures. As for precipitation,
it is a more complex forecast. If you go back and you look at the data, even though the El Nino years typically have less overall precipitation, there are more rainy days, especially in those strong El Nino years like we're looking at this year. So there may be less rain overall, but there may be more rainy days.
Currently, the forecast shows a 95% chance of this El Nino lasting from January to March, with a 71% chance it will be strong. Now, a strong El Nino does not mean a stronger weather system.
Still ahead tonight, Breast Cancer Awareness Month and the effort to increase awareness of all the different...
Wait a second. You're saying I'm not invincible? So you can see me right now?
New tonight on CBS. When two celebrity-led teams
What is this?
face off.
It's a horribly drawn swan.
In a game of quick draw.
1, 2, 3,
It's fast-paced family fun for all. Pictionary. Every weekday.
Pictionary, weekdays at 9 on WZMQ CBS.
The average cost of hearing aids is nearly $5,000, but now you can buy a full pair of rechargeable, wireless, nearly invisible, easy-to-use, and comfortable hearing devices for only $99, but only from Audient.
It's easy to use.
They're small. A pair of $99 Audient Atoms can be sold over the phone without having to see a doctor or audiologist. Call to order.
1-800-564-4351.
Hi friends, Richard Karn here.
Now, I'm known as the guy who can fix just about anything, but the technology in most appliances requires very special training to fix. And that's why my family has Choice Home Warranty.
Choice Home Warranty covers over 25 major home systems and appliances. That's your AC, heating, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and so much more.
Imagine for less than a cup of coffee a day, Choice Home Warranty can help protect you from expensive major system and appliance breakdowns that your homeowner's insurance doesn't cover.
Call Choice Home Warranty now and get access to a nationwide network of over 15,000 technicians and the latest appointment setting technology so you'll know when they're on their way.
So, do what this old DIYer did and call Choice Home Warranty now before something breaks down.
Get protection for your heating, AC, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and more. Call for your free quote today. Call in the next 5 minutes and get your first month free. 800-418-1754. 800-418-1754.
You're watching the award-winning WZMQ 19 News, live and local with Sarah Blakely.
This Breast Cancer Awareness Month, a new survey shows that besides a lump, many adults don't know problematic warning signs. Michael George has one woman's story about a battle with the disease she was never expecting.
In May 2020, Lisa Overholser was experiencing pain and swelling in her neck and shoulder.
My initial symptoms were some skin changes in my breast. It had gotten kind of just thickened and dimpled, but what really drove me to the doctor was pain in my left arm.
She thought she had a pinched nerve. She was diagnosed with stage 4 inflammatory breast cancer.
I quit breathing. It was just there's no way. I had worked in physical therapy. I thought, oh, I've got this radiating pain, never connecting it to the skin changes in my breast.
Most adults know a lump is a breast cancer symptom, but a survey from the Ohio State University Comprehensive Cancer Center shows they don't know other symptoms, such as a retracted, inverted, or downward pointing nipple, breast puckering, loss of feeling, pitting, thickening of the skin, and discharge.
Knowing what both common and uncommon symptoms are will allow women and men to notify their doctors if there's a change in their breast and to find cancer earlier.
Dr. Ashley Pariser says inflammatory breast cancer can often be mistaken for an infection.
If it's not getting better, it's really important to look at alternative reasons because inflammatory may be one of the reasons.
Lisa's treatment included intensive chemotherapy, surgery, radiation, and a 2-drug oral treatment to try to keep her disease stable.
Once you're stage 4, they never tell you you're cured, but I have no active cancer activity.
She's enjoying spending time with her grandson and urges other women to talk to their doctor if they notice changes in their body.
Inflammatory breast cancer accounts for only 1 to 5% of breast cancer cases, according to the American Cancer Society. But it's important to know your risk and warning signs because it's aggressive and fast growing. In some other health news, jamming out to your favorite tunes is actually good for you. Listening to your favorite songs can help reduce pain intensity and unpleasantness, according to Canadian researchers. Study participants received moderately painful stimuli on their arm. Those listening to music they liked rated the pain lower than those who heard unfamiliar but relaxing tracks. Also, music with moving or bittersweet themes helped to dampen pain perception as well. And child care centers are not super spreader locations for COVID-19, according to a study from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine. Researchers found children and caregivers transmitting infections at a rate of just 2 to 3%, suggesting stay-at-home policies be revised to match other respiratory viruses. They also found just 17% of household infections came from a child who caught COVID at daycare. We'll be waking up to some cooler temperatures again tomorrow, along with more scattered showers. Ariane has the outlook on the way. And puppy's first snowfall. Some pups in Montana got to experience their first flakes ever. That's our final story after this.
Shop our huge selection of Amish-crafted dining room sets at Kirkish Furniture in Houghton. Browse our large in-stock collection and customize with a special order. With 1-year no-interest financing available, plus free delivery. Shop Kirkish Furniture today.
Escanaba and Delta County, home to beautiful beaches, Lake Michigan, lighthouses,
pretty parks, and great people. It's why so many are proud to say this is home. I'm Lily Simmons. I'll show you what's happening here every day, in your schools, your communities, and businesses, sharing what makes this area so special.
Lily Simmons reports from Delta County, weeknights at 6 and 11, only on WZMQ 19 News.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With private healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-985-5328. That's 800-985-5328.
Who will be there when the final whistle blows or the final votes have been cast? Will you start a career in the broadcasting industry? Be there. Go to BeThereMichigan.com.
All right, temperatures right now in that 40-degree range. We're seeing some fog moving in as well. We'll see those sprinkles later on, or I should say we could see even heavy showers, especially on that northwest coast of the UP. Thursday morning, expect foggy conditions, patchy fog throughout the day. Those temperatures averaging about 47 in the morning and then 50 degrees in the afternoon there. And we've got another full moon on the way. This Hunter's moon is also known as drying rice moon, falling leaves moon, and freezing moon. The origin story of this full moon is that it meant winter is coming and people need to prepare for it by hunting and preserving foods. Remember that September harvest corn moon when the crops were cleared out of the fields? Well, that makes it easier for hunters, both humans and animal predators, to see those deer and prey in the fields, making it easy to hunt for them. All right, so we've got Halloween coming up. Expect some snow showers and those temperatures probably in the 30s.
Finally, tonight, there's nothing quite like the first snowfall, and these puppies in Missoula, Montana just experienced their first snow. Look at this. Blessed Doodles of Tura shared this video of their newest litter of Labradoodle puppies exploring the fresh flakes. The Pacific Northwest and Northern Plains are expecting some heavy snow up to 6 inches already, so this little dusting is just the beginning for them. I remember Beasley's first experience with snow, and it's so fun to watch, and I can't wait to see Bruno's first snow.
Make sure you get that on video and share it with us. Yeah, my dogs love snow too. And I also want to mention Missoula, Montana, really cool collegiate little town over there in
interesting
Montana.
The more you know.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Anyway, we will be getting some snow soon, friends. So share your videos with us too.
Yes, absolutely. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Wait a second. You're saying I'm not invincible? So you can see me right now?
New tonight on CBS.
Superior Collision is seeking a certified auto body technician for full-time employment. Qualified candidates can call or apply in person, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday.